My name is Ateh Atabong. I come from Cameroon and I live in Norway. I'm a pharmacist by profession. I studied in Norway, in the north of Norway, and then moved to Oslo, where I've been working as a pharmacist for the past 11 years. During the last 3 to 5 years, I have become increasingly interested in the African market, doing business and healthcare in the African market, and promoting the African diaspora and people in Africa and entrepreneurs in Africa to create businesses and help grow the continent. Oh no, I had my career path. When I finished school, I had my career path set. I had studied pharmacy. I was going to maybe take an MBA, and I was going to be a boss in some company, and then at some point, if I bothered to move to Africa, somebody was going to ship me there in some large corporation to go and be a director somewhere. That was my career plan. But when I came to Norway, I stayed here for about 13 years without going to Cameroon or Africa at all on vacation. When I finally did, about 5.5, 6 years ago, that is when I got the eye-opener for what is possible in the continent, and since then my career changed. For the time I've lived in Norway and in Europe, I see that there are very many African diaspora who, one, are not participating in the growth of the continent. Many other people are from different places in the world, and the opportunities are very many in the continent at the moment. And I have seen them. I just want to contribute to be an eye-opener for people to participate in the growth of Africa, and also to empower generations coming, or generations that have migrated into Europe, to know that they come from somewhere and that there is possibilities there. Being a pharmacist is pretty simple. It's you go to school, you know what to do. I think my challenge as being a pharmacist is just basically finding my place, because I'm an entrepreneur by nature, but then I'm a professional pharmacist. So in Norway, it has been difficult for me to find a space where I can be a complete entrepreneur and a complete pharmacist. That has been the challenge on the pharmacist side. As an entrepreneur, my challenge has been that no matter what I've tried to do, it has indirectly correlated itself towards Africa. And doing business from here on the continent when you're not there yourself has been a challenge. And building a very viable business, even though I have a lot of ideas, building a viable business and making money so that you don't have to work has been challenging. Yes, it's always been a passion of mine to get products from the African continent that have good quality, are legitimate, and promote them in Europe. In that sense, it naturally involves the African diaspora, because the whole idea is bridging the gap between the market needs here and the products in the African market that fit, and also taking products from here into the African market in where it's possible. So we started together with a partner, a company called Sawa, which imports high quality nutritional products from the African continent and will be packaged and marketed in the European market. As a quality pharmacist, I've also worked in a food company. So the requirements for food safety and pharma are very much the same, because everything that humans consume have a certain level of quality. The system of transporting things from one place to another in specific temperatures, the testing that has to be done, how they have to be packaged, people will pick up the products we have and package them so that there are no microbes in it. All of that is the same for pharma and food. And especially for Sawa, I believe that my competence as a quality person can help the companies and the farms to package their products with better quality. And we realize that many of our places where we buy our products have good products but little quality management systems and lack of understanding of quality, and that is where my ability comes in. What I have learned over the years is a significant difference between leadership and management. While I have worked for a very short period as a manager, leadership is about having that vision, about having to be able to see many years ahead and leading people to that point. And as a mentor, that is also very important. I also work as a coach, and that is seeing where people are or where possibility is today and then seeing where it can go in the future, and then helping people to bridge that gap and to get to where they want to go. Humans. In every setting, the most difficult skills is the management of people. The ability to see people for who they are and pull out their unique skills and abilities and then use them to do the job that has to be done. It's easy to understand what has to be done. It's easy to come to a department or a place where you have staff, but to get the right people motivated to do the right job, that has been the most challenging thing. I'm not very much empowering them with my skills, but very much with my example. And out of Africa, out of Europe, where I currently live, out of Europe, is basically the many diasporans who have gone back home. And for these, their examples and what they do, the companies they create, it's easier to communicate with them when you work because they understand where you're coming from. They understand the demands you make, especially in the field of food and agribusiness or healthcare. Back home in Norway, the best way I am contributing is creating that mentorship space where younger entrepreneurs can be part of a network where they can get advice and direction when doing business in Africa. But also we support Norwegian companies who want to go into the African market to have a better understanding of the market. And in that way, some of them have family members and partners who are from the diaspora. So it goes both ways. I don't know where I learned to take risk in itself, but I know that I'm very, very motivated to create something. And very early on in the entrepreneurship career, I realized that in order to achieve anything in life, you must pay your dues. You must sacrifice something, you must work very hard, and sometimes that comes with risk. So my motivation is primarily to achieve something, and whatever comes in the way, I see that as a natural part of it. I have had 2 businesses that have failed, so in a sense I can say I take risks, but my driving force is not the ability to take risk itself, it's the need and the desire to succeed. My recent business I failed was in 2016. I actually moved from Norway to Cameroon for a year to build a distribution business idea which I've been having for a while. I was extremely surprised by the difference in my perspective or perception of the market, which I thought I came from, and the reality. After being away from Cameroon for such a long time, it is very surprising to understand that people think differently. You have kind of achieved and attained new perspective, and to do business there was really, really difficult. Now, for many African countries, Cameroon is a difficult country to do business, so that also came into play. And then we were selling healthcare products, quality healthcare products, mostly from the Scandinavian market, which we did not find the right customer group for until towards the end of the business. So there were a lot of aspects that played in, but at the end of the day, the business did not succeed and I had to close the company. But that has translated into one of my successes now. I decided to study design thinking, which is actually understanding the customer perspective very well. And my time in Cameroon gave me a very, very deep understanding of the fact that no matter how wonderful your business idea is, understanding your customer early on is very important. And I learned that you not easily do business in a country because you came from there. If you've lived out of a country, I say basically 5 years, you cannot go back there and claim that you understand what is going on there. And I also understood that people don't really care for quality as much as the environment in which I now live in preaches quality. It is not a priority for many people in, for example, Cameroon or any other African country. But at the same time, I learned that in those countries, there is a market for those kind of products, but it's a small market and you have to focus on that market and then grow your business. It's not that I don't care about quality at all, it's not a priority. So price is more important than quality. And in Cameroon, for example, there are no quality control systems for products that come into the country. So when you bring a quality product and you're telling people this is a better quality product, it doesn't mean anything if the prices doesn't match what they already have in the market. It's not very normal that people talk about quality when they talk about clothes and handbags and makeup, But when it comes to healthcare products and even medicines, they don't, it's not a priority. Yes, I think it's very, very important because both when it comes to products and to ourselves as Africans, and this is also something that is very important to me, Africans have taught themselves to always accept less than they deserve. And this comes to people accepting to use bad products without caring where it comes from. There are many products in the Cameroonian market with no inscription on the label of what it is inside, but people consume these products with their money. People don't really put themselves in the position of demanding that companies and firms raise themselves up to produce better quality products for them. So that is a very important thing. When it comes to the social part, this is what also with the diaspora, there's so many Africans in the diaspora who are not cautious and are not conscious of the importance and growth in the African market. So they're comfortable with what is here, while so much more exists where they come from. And that is also something that is important to focus on. First of all, change like that almost never comes from government. It doesn't happen in Africa. Maybe it doesn't even happen in Europe. Especially in a continent that is growing. We need individuals. That's what we're calling on the diaspora. People who have ideas. Go in there, create quality firms. First of all, if you're selling quality products. Secondly, people can create quality control units. You have to make it unattractive for bad companies to sell their products in our markets. When you do, more companies will follow. At a critical point, the government will follow, but they will not start creating systems. In many African countries, the establishments that have been made do not support quality. They don't care. It doesn't mean anything because they do not understand the consequence. Because it's not like you drink a yogurt today and die tomorrow. So you consume bad products. We have low quality products. The effect of them is felt by the families in illnesses and costs. So because it's not a direct cost on the government, there is less interest. If you see, for example, Ghana has come far. Everything that is sold for skin, hair, medicines are all registered. But then, even they have a long way to go. So it will start with people who have companies to become more cautious, Africans and diaspora, people who work in the market to have more self-consciousness in what they sell to the other citizens, and those who understand and know what it is to create awareness when they sell so that it will become unattractive to buy products that are not good quality. I never knew I had this skill. I just knew I like to talk. And I always knew also that when I have something to say, I really, really want to say it. I did take, in 2017, I did take a course, an introductory course in public speaking, but it's basically like where do you place your hands when you talk, the pitch of your voice. But for me, it's been something burning inside that I want to get out. And when I get into that place where I'm passionate about something, I'm believing something, then I find myself talking a lot about it. I think no matter what you're doing, no matter what your life situation is, if you're a parent with 10 children or a parent with 2 children, a single person, a student, within the next, also first of all, within the past 10 to 15 years and within the next 20 to 30 years, there will be so many things happening in the continent of Africa. There will be very many changes, and we want to participate in that change. We sit in a unique position, those in the diaspora, to be able to understand 2 worlds, and linking those 2 worlds is going to create enormous opportunity for people. Many of us have the opportunity for the first time in life to enrich ourselves, impact the lives of other people, and have financial freedom. And that only exists, or that mostly exists, if you work on the continent. For those who are not ready to go back, there are many possibilities you can do from your home here, but I advise everybody in the diaspora to have your eyes and ears open for what is going on in the continent.